Hi, good afternoon. My name is Courtney Thrain. I am the director of Downtown Framingham, Inc., which is a 501c3 nonprofit, and our mission is to build business, community, and culture, specifically in the downtown Framingham area. Thank you for joining me on this tour today. Typically, every August, I do a tour downtown called the Cafe Crawl, so we did not do that this year because of the pandemic, but I wanted to do something cool with holiday lights and happenings, so thank you for joining me. We're going to start off with a joke because that's what I like to do. It's not really a joke, but what does Framingham have in common with Ed Sheeran? And so the name is that he's a pop star, Ed Sheeran, just like Justin Bieber or Taylor Swift, but Ed is from Framingham, England, and Framingham is named after Framingham, England, with that L in the word. So that's something cool to know and how Framingham relates to pop culture. I'm going to talk a lot today about the history from 1880 to 1920. There's a lot of great history out there, and it's super fascinating. There's a lot of really cool books you can get at the library. Framingham, an American Town by Stephen Herring is like the go-to Bible on Framingham history, so I really encourage you to check it out if you can, because it'll really open your eyes and it will inspire you to the entrepreneurial spirit that Framingham has had, and how busy and how complex the cultures and the immigrants coming to Framingham over the last hundreds and hundreds of years, how those relationships have evolved over time and how it has made the area what it is today. So it's just very awe-inspiring to read that book. And Framingham has always had a generous heart as a town, as a city. For example, when Chicago caught on fire in 1871, Framingham donated $1,000 back in 1871 to help out the city of Chicago in Illinois when it had its huge fire. That's just the kind of spirit that Framingham has, and I think it's really reflected today when you look at the culture of its people and how they're always donating to charities, willing to help out their neighbors, all the time, all walks of life. So, Reverend Spalding said, "The instance was typical of the generosity of Framingham people. We have always known how to do a good thing when we saw a good thing to be done." And then Dr. Emmerich said on this, "I would like to live 100 years from now and see the unity as the outgrowth of the divine spirit in men. Unity will become the spirit of the age." And I think this year, 2020, we've really seen how people have come together, and unity has definitely become the spirit of the age. All right, so that's kind of setting the stage for the tour today. First, I'm going to kind of lay the framework, lay down the infrastructure for Framingham. In 1834, the first trains came to Framingham. Can you imagine that? And that brought more people and commercial opportunities to downtown Framingham specifically. Before the trains, Framingham, named after Framingham, was really an agricultural community. It was made up of colonists and remaining members of the Nipmuc tribe, also known as the freshwater country. And they had really suffered from pandemics and epidemics specifically related to smallpox. So in 1830, the Central Turnpike was completed. So in 1830, the Central Turnpike is also known as Route 135. And that was completed in 1830. And then the railroads and everything were completed by 1890. And in 1890, there were 100 trains a day coming to Framingham. Can you imagine 100 trains today and what that would do to the traffic north and south? So Framingham's population by 1890 had skyrocketed to 10,000 people. Framingham was the fastest growing town in Massachusetts. And I always like to say that downtown Framingham is the fastest growing urban core in the area. So that's very exciting to see these trends continue to evolve today. In 1888, when we talk about transportation infrastructure, the electric trolley also came to Framingham with 17 rail cars. And the first rider of the electric trolley was named Dexter Hemingway, and he was 93 years young when he first jumped on that electric trolley in 1888. So later, Perini Construction removed these electric rails and they rebuilt Route 9, and that happened in the 1930s. So when we talk about utilities and infrastructure, let's talk about urbanization. Framingham is over 26 square miles. It has rural areas, it has suburban areas, and it most definitely has an urban area. I would say that downtown Framingham has been urban since the 1800s. And with urban areas, you need really good utilities. So urbanization is marked by a density of people living in a mixed-use environment. So in 1883, the Framingham Water Company pumped water from Farm Pond to South Framingham. So Farm Pond was really supplying the water for South Framingham. By 1890, there were 85 fire hydrants and 13 miles of water pipe covering the entire Framingham. The Hollis Fire Station here, behind me, it was introduced by William M. Ramney, hook and ladder truck number 1, complete with a gold trim and maroon ladders. So let's talk about sewer. Framingham has a very interesting history of its sewer. Boston actually sued Framingham in 1885 for polluting the Sudbury River system. In 1888, 3 years later, Framingham switched from leaching wastewater into the soil and invested $140,000 into its brand new sewer system. It was its largest capital expenditure to date in 1888. Of this, I just mentioned that Boston actually sued Framingham. Boston contributed $25,000 to this new sewer system in 1888. In 1888, there were 22,000 feet of pipe for the sewer system that were laid. So we've talked about transportation, we've talked about the water system and the sewer system. So let's next talk about lights. You're going to see a lot of lights today. From 1887 to 1890, the Framingham Electric Company increased its electric street lights from 7 to nearly over 100. So Framingham really got bright in just 3 years. So let's next talk about phone. Being able to communicate by phone was a really big deal in the late 1800s. And so that would be, again, Willis Rainey, Charles Cutler, and Joel Clark. They organized the Central Massachusetts Telephone Company, and it was a private corporation to bring street water to the taps and hydrants of Framingham. So they had all of these infrastructure companies that they were creating to make it so that people could keep up their hygiene with water and sewer and make it a great, safe place to be.